Welcome to the Trading Lounge and the US indices. We'll look at the S&P and also the Nasdaq as well. With the S&P, as you know, we've got a few counts for this. However, our intraday count is pretty spot on in terms of the current turn that we have at the moment. So let's just go over the main counts, and then we'll look at the internal counts, and we can work it from that point. So that's what the video is for, is to explore possible counts and then eliminate them one by one. So it's quite possible that this is the count here, and we're looking at wave 3 here, an A and a B and a C and a D and an E here for wave 4, and we've finished here, and we have an impulse wave to the upside. We'll pull back 50-60%, and then we'll push up for the third wave and a fourth and fifth and so on. We'll head up into this direction here. So it's not like we're going to miss anything, because we've tracked 5 waves up through to here. We're looking for that top there. We've got our top in play, and we've got our turn now. So now we just need to work the correction down. We need to work out if it's an impulse wave or a correction to the downside. Now also too, so if this is going to be a bullish count, well then we can look for it to pull back to the 50-60% and then push up and so on. If not, well then we'll be looking at it pulling down here, pulling back up, and pulling down here further into a different type of triangle. Now we can count these triangles in different ways. So just see what this one is here. That's the bullish count here. So while we're here, we'll look at this. So on the bullish count here, we're looking from this wave 4 of E here of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave 1. And then in that case, we would look for an ABC correction, pulling back. Let's just double check that now that we've got that high into play there. So we can grab that and put that in this space. We could just bring that down a little bit here. Let's get rid of this here for a second, get rid of that. We can still leave that there. We'll come back to that a little bit later. So this ABC pattern here, we don't need that. We can just sharpen this up a little bit now. So the move down here is pretty much in 5 waves. So we can look at an A and a B and a C wave coming back up into supply level. So these tops here will be supply level, but the 50-60% retracement level. And then we can look at 5 waves coming down into this space here. It may not pull all the way down into this sort of area here, because basically wave A and wave C will have some sort of relationship together. So we can have that on the long track, but we can't put that line in there yet until we get that ABC correction in there, okay? But what we can do, copy this on here, in terms of getting this up here into this space here. We'll look at this in more detail, but we're just looking at setups here. So on the short side, we're expecting a rally here as an ABC to the upside. So taking that low and the second low here as a bit of a line in the sand, that's one way to move down into this wave 2 area here. I'm just going to bring this one down here, and we'll just give it a wide berth there at the moment, because it's not what we're looking for. I mean, in fact, what we really should be doing is, if it's going to be bullish, we start with this one here, and then I'll just copy that here. Sorry for this, but yeah, so we don't really need that one. I'll give it a bit of a wider berth there, just so we'd know what we're talking about. But taking that top out, which is what we'll do, but then we'll end up bringing this down onto this one here as well for the long trade here. So we'll keep working, all the triggers to the upside, but we can also work the triggers to the downside. Working the trigger to the downside is not such a bad idea, because don't forget that if we're wrong with this count coming down as an A and a B and a C here, then we'll get a wave 4 here, and then we'll come down further through here. Okay, so in the bearish count. So taking this one here is fine. So I'm just going to save that while we're here, and then we'll move into, I think the 4-hour chart I had one count on. So This is one count here in the triangle pattern where it just expands much further. So we're going down for the A wave here, then an A and a B, and then an A and a B and a C for the C wave here, then the D wave, then the E wave for the B wave, and then the C wave down, which will also be in 5 waves. So, I mean, this will be in 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and building back onto here and moving up in that way. So that's how that will play out in this scenario. So we need to be mindful of this. And in this case here, it's pretty much the same sort of routine here. So in this case here, we will look at this. You can refine this anyway, but we can look at this here. This is one of the interesting things too, which I mentioned yesterday or the last time we spoke, is that so we're looking at the market. In this case here, we're looking at the triangle, obviously, but if I can just copy that there as an A and a B and a C wave here, and then the same over here as well. Laborious, but there we go. Beautiful pattern, and so it can play out like that. So what I want to talk about is what I talked about last time as well. In this count here, we're looking for 5 waves down to this point, the 2650, really important point here, and then a bounce as a B wave and down for a C wave. If we get 5 waves here, then we're going to get that, and then we're going to get that. If we get 5 waves here, after a corrective wave, we're going to get another 5 waves. Okay, that may not come down that low, might just come down to this low here. Now, the thing is that we're also looking at a bullish count as well. So the trick here, and this will be a great example to work with, is that from the high here, you know, if we've got this as wave 1 here and wave 2 and we're moving up here, then from here we'd be looking for, I might just draw it over here, so we'd look down for the A wave here, the B wave here, and a C wave down into this space here. So what I'm trying to say here is that this target area here, if we come down to that in 3 waves, we reach here only in 3 waves, then we know that we have a bullish market, and then we'll go long on this one here. But if we get 5 waves to the 61.8%, then we know that we have a bearish market. So then if we've got a bearish market, we won't worry too much about the bounce. But if we've got 3 waves to here, then we need to be buying on this low here for the longer haul to the upside. The other, just having a closer look at this here, so sometimes it's a bit tricky to get your head around these things, patterns. So it's funny, I'm learning dancing at the moment, and just to get me out of the house, but they're all patterns with your feet as well, so it's interesting. You're getting your noggin around them basically. So wave A here, and then the B wave is way over here. So basically we have a triangle in wave B, because triangles normally occur either in wave B or in wave 4. They're pretty much the only places they occur in. So yeah, in this case, an A wave, a B wave, a C wave, a D wave, and an E wave here for the B wave. The other count that I've got here, just to make things more complicated, but this is a bit simpler, this count is on the 3-hour chart here, and it's valid as well. So wave 3 here, in this case we have an A wave, a B wave, a C wave, an A and a B and a C for wave D, and then down for wave E here. So we can have a low in this place here as well. So whichever triangle pattern, you know, if we have the bullish pattern and we're going to move up to here, move back to here, and then move up from here, from this space here, then we've got a clear pathway to take, and it will be an easy trend to trade going up here. But if we get either one of these 2 triangles, it's just going to be, because it's diminishing in size, then like this leg is the biggest, then this one. See, each leg gets smaller and smaller, so each trend will be getting smaller and smaller as well. So it just gets messy, but that's wave 4s for you, and they're laborious. We just need to work through them. So coming down into the hourly chart here at the moment, so it's kind of left us with we've either got the move up here as wave 1, or we've got it up here as wave C. As wave C, it's going to be one of the triangle patterns here. Okay, as wave 1, then we've got a bullish pattern here. So the bullish pattern is we've got wave A in here, and we'll be looking for wave B, and then we'll be looking for wave C in here. So I mean, it does look like in this case just let me check with the cash market to see where that's up to. Just give us a sec. Gonna double check. I think we've got our low in really, so what we can do here is look at, let's just do the textbook thing. So from this top here, from the 2700 area here, we'll look at this coming back up into the 50-60% space. Look, it's okay getting the 50 and 60. It's a starting point, right? It's where you put the flags in the ground, but always look to the other sides over here and the head and shoulder sort of thing. But basically, it's where the most volume has been turned over. You can get charting programs that, and this one may do it, I can't recall, but give you the volume coming in from the side on each price point, and then that way the histogram on the side here will show you where the most volume is turned over, and that's where the resistance is going to be. Otherwise, you can use price points as such as well. So many roads to Rome. So we don't need that anymore. All that sort of lines up, so that's all good. So wave B here, and we can look at this as, if I got, okay, beauty, we've got some over here. Just use these little guys. So the B wave will be in 3 waves as such, so we can look at that in those terms. So looking at this as something like this, an A wave here, B wave here, C wave here, and then probably 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, something like that here. Just get these into space here. I mean, on the cash market, we're looking at this as 5 waves down here, okay? So that's good. And we'll just clarify that on the tick chart a bit. So anyway, the short trade, can we borrow this one here now? Move that. So that's the starting point. I mean, the other point here is that, you know, we know the A waves don't have to worry too much about the A wave. It will either be in 3 waves or 5 waves. B will be in 3 waves, and the C wave here will be in 5 waves. As soon as the top 5th wave comes in, you can short it. Otherwise, allow it to come back down and find the 2720 as a retested resistance, and then take the trade from that point on the short side. The tick chart here will clarify things a little bit further. So once again, wave 1 or wave C at the top here. We've got our impulse wave down through here. We've got, anyway, I don't need to go into that too much. You could probably count this a little bit differently, but the cash market's got the easiest count. So we should be seeing this. Let's go over this again. I mean, that where it was support here and resistance over here, so that's a real price point, which is also, this just happens to be the 61.8% here as well. So that's important. We don't have our ABC correction yet, so I'd say something like this here. I can't draw on this slide, but I think that's 1 and 2 in here, and 3 in here, and 4 in here, and 5 up into this space up here, hit this resistance here, come back and spend an ABC here, and then 5 waves up here. So I'd be working this 2720 number in this particular case here for that short trade to the downside. And the other thing too is that if it is a if it is just well, we don't know yet, so yeah, just don't know what we've got yet here. So we don't know if we've got a wave 2 here, or part of that triangle pattern. Let's just sort this out in here. Sorry for waffling on so long. Nope, still haven't got it. Okay. Oh, that's interesting, that trend line through here as well. So maybe pick that up. You'll only get that on the tick chart every time you go to a different time frame. It will be thrown out further, so we don't need that. Put that over here somewhere. Actually, just put it under here. So, right. Back up into this space. That's roughly right. So, well, the 2650 is just going to prove really important once again in this space. But there should be some sort of relationship to wave A and wave C, wave A and wave C here, have some sort of equality, which means equal. But at the same time, there's a couple of other things that we can also look at as well. I mean, wave C here, if it is longer, it might be longer by 38.2% or 61.8%. But one of the main things that I like to look at in trying to understand, if I'll just save this and I'll just go back to the hourly chart so I can draw on it, and this will be helpful. It's just a little tip thing, so we don't need all of that. So just to talk about the personality of corrections a little bit. So if we have a move up, which is this one here, and then we have the move down here, and then the ABC for the B wave here, and then the C wave here, this C wave here. So if the C wave here is on more of an angle than wave A here, then we know that it's going to be a corrective move. So as it's moving down, if wave A is the sharpest, then and then wave A will be what it is. This is what it is at the moment. But wave B and then wave C here, if we see this move down here on more of an angle than this one, like less of an angle rather, just dramatise that a bit, then we know that then we know that we've got an ABC correction at that point, and we can go up from that point. But if this wave coming down here is either sharper or the same sort of angle slightly there as wave A here, then we know that we have a third wave in play, and we're going to be coming down into a 5-wave structure. Okay, so a lazy C or a sharp third, that will help us with this. It's a bit like this one here really. So we've got wave 1 here, wave 2, wave 3 here, and we're looking at wave 4 and 5 all jammed up in there. Yeah, so let's just see what this is here. If this does the same thing in here, then we know that we'll have what we'll have at that particular point. So anyway, just rambling on, we need to move on to the NASDAQ. There's not much difference in this as well, so it's the same sort of patterns that we're looking at. The only thing the NASDAQ has got, which I think is more bullish, is that we can count this move here as wave 1 and 2 here, because on the S&P we're counting this low here on the S&P is lower than this one here. Yeah, so it's down here, so we have to count these 5 waves up here as wave 1 up here. But in this case here, we can count this as 1 here and 2 here and then 3 here and then 4 here and then 5 moving up. So in this case we've got a bullish pattern occurring here. The only mistake or other way to count this, if wrong, is by putting this wave E over into this space here. So if you've got that, that's also correct as well in this space. But like I said before, our job was to trade long in these spaces, get up to 7,000, get out, and just wait. Let's see what we've got. Let's just allow the correction to play out a little bit. Let's see what we've got, and we can move in. I mean, At the latest point of moving in short, we would move in short with 6,800 as a retested resistance. But let's just allow this leg to finish here, and let's pick up the thread at that particular point in time. So in terms of this market here, we're also looking at this being the A wave down here, already completed, a B wave and a C wave coming into this place. If it's a wave 4, then it's going to be just sitting on top of 6.8 here, which is a really important number here. So there's a bit of space that this market can come down into. Let's just once again let's allow it to mature. You know where the short trade is through these guys, and just be careful. I mean, scalping, it doesn't really matter, but for trend traders, a bit of patience, waiting for the setup is good, and yeah, do something else. Alrighty, cheers.